protector and provider, super.
Hey, what's up? It's Presley Tennant from The Voice, and you're watching The Michael Finkley Show on Roku and YouTube.
Dark and made it brighter. Wish it could be half that strong.
I will make it.
If I can make it through the night, just to see a brighter side. 'Cause I've been working all my life just to make it. If I can make it through the
Everybody, welcome to the Michael Finkley Show. Thanks for joining us today. So I have to shout out, I'm wearing this awesome shirt. I have to shout out to Black Charleston here in Charleston, South Carolina. They are bringing Black professionals together in a mighty way. So go check out their website, go check out their social media. The information is across your screen right now. And check out this phenomenal group. If you're in the Charleston, South Carolina area and you're a Black business owner or doing something positive in the community, please, this is the organization to affiliate yourself with. Black Charleston. And thank you for welcoming me, Finkley, to this organization as well. We appreciate you. So when it comes to the realm of service, as I said, there are a lot of many people out there just doing their thing. I feel like I've been of service to many people for many, many years since I was a youngster, just helping out at home, helping out my family, helping out my friends. And then also when I moved on into the professional arena, helping out students and other professionals meet their endeavors and what they really want to do in life. So I feel that I've been doing this all of my life. And it gives you an exciting feeling about what is to come within your life. I feel that once you help others and you're doing it real authentically in your own special way, blessings will come and you're able to help even more people. And this is what I want this platform to do. I want to service others and help even more people in their whatever endeavor that they wish to partake in. And so this is what our guests are doing today. We have awesome King Randall with us as he talks about his phenomenal school that he created for his young males. And he talks about stories that got him to where he is today. So don't you go away. More to come. Back in a moment. Coming up, we have King Randall with us. Back in a moment.
It's unbeatable.
This is your boy Kenny Lewis, and guess what? I'm here with my boy Michael Finkley on RokuTV and YouTube.
He'll always win. Why? 'Cause he's undefeated.
On the next Michael Finkley, Platinum R&B group member of Shy, Dr. Garfield Bright is with us. He chats with us about life after the group, receiving his PhD, and so much more. Next Finkley, Friday. Keeping your skin flawless and clean is important, and I have the products just for you. Welcome to Mimi's Natural Pantry, where she specializes in homemade handcrafts, including lye and goat milk soaps, body butters, and sugar scrubs. All items are handmade products. All items have simple ingredients and are vegan friendly. In a world where you can barely pronounce many of the ingredients in your everyday products, Mimi's Back to Nature offers an alternative choice for those who are ready to get back into nature. Ready to order? Visit their website at mimisnaturalpantry.com. All orders over $50 have free shipping up to 25 pounds. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. Now, my next guest, you've probably seen him across your social media feed and doing the positive things for young males within his community and ultimately across the world. I have the founder with you of the X for Boys. He is King Randall. King, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
You're very welcome. Now, when I say your name, it just flows. I'm calling you the King because you are that in your own right. Fantastic. So I must ask, why is serving this man in 2021 important?
Well, right now, in my opinion, I feel like a lot of our boys, especially where I live in the city of Albany, most of their moms are single there, and a lot of the moms are constantly working, etc. And a lot of our boys are getting their inspiration from social media, rappers, the football players, etc. And that's where the boys are getting their inspiration from. And I feel like, if we are going to, help our boys, we have to learn how to be the biggest influence in their lives. So my biggest thing, for helping our boys right now is because, our fathers are not there. And I can speak for, where I live in Albany, Georgia, not sure about any other cities or towns, but where I live, we have a huge problem, with our boys not having father figures. And we're number one for poverty in the state of Georgia. We were at one point the fourth poorest city in the nation. In our school systems, we're having trouble with our boys reading, etc. So for me, I just decided it was time for us to, get up and do something for our boys. I didn't feel like anybody was doing anything on a consistent basis that I felt like needed to be being done. So of course, if you want something done, you got to do it yourself. So I started doing that since I was 19, and I'm 22 now. And we've been extremely successful in the city of Albany.
And that's amazing. And I love what you stand for. You go out there and you do it. You don't wait, you do it. There's a system.
Right.
Is there, but you don't wait. You do it for the greater cause of the people, the young men that you're serving. Let's dive into your childhood a little bit, right there. You talk about having a strong mother. Your stepfathers were there. That support system. Talk about that time that that was precious to you in your childhood.
Absolutely. My mom got married when I was in the 4th grade to my former stepfather. His name is Marcus. And he taught me, I remember the first day literally that I met him, I was actually outside in the backyard trying to plant some watermelons because I was always interested in doing outdoor work. And he came out and actually showed me how to plant the watermelons only with my shovel, and my watermelons were successful that year. But I was clearly doing it wrong, but he came and showed me how to do it. But ever since then, we've done so many things like fishing, and he taught me how to kill animals and skin them. And we built everything in the backyard. We built all of our sheds and dog houses. We had so many animals. We had chickens and goats and dogs and rabbits, everything. So we also grew all of our own food. So anytime my mom wanted to cook, we'd go outside and pick what we wanted to eat. We had fruit, trees, everything. We even grew our own seasoning. Like literally, we grew everything at our house. So our house in the hood was like that little house that everybody went to get, fresh vegetables and fruit, etc. Because that's what we had. We had fresh eggs from our chickens. We had dogs. Like I said, we built everything. So every shed we had in the backyard, we built ourselves. We even turned our washroom in the house into a bedroom, and we moved the washroom outside. We built the shed for our washroom, and we ran the pipes from under the house all the way under the ground, all the way out to the shed. And we ran the electricity out there, etc. And all of it's pretty easy. I didn't even know it was that easy, but when you have somebody that know how to do that stuff, it's easy. Exactly. I welded. We built grills for people. Like we take these big old gas tanks from like old trucks and stuff. We cut them open, and we'd weld them, together with like hinges and stuff. And we'd make grills for people like that. So we used to make like grills out of gas tanks and stuff. But we did some of everything. Like sometimes I have to sit down and like really realize everything that we did because he taught me how to do so much. And I didn't understand at the time, how important those things were until I got older and realized a lot of other boys couldn't do these things and stuff my granddad, taught me how to do. And, I just feel like those things are important. Then my current stepfather, he's more of a businessman. Many people may know him from the First 48, Detective Hardaway, DeKalb County. That's my stepfather. And he's like more of the business side. He taught me, how to, stand up and walk straight and, command a room, etc. So my former stepfather was a countryman and my current stepfather is a businessman. So I got like the best of both worlds. So you can see me in a suit and you can catch me with a dirty shirt on another day in a cowboy hat. So that's kind of how, I grew up. My mom was extremely important in my life. My biological father wasn't always there, but my mom always made sure we had a great relationship. And I'm super, appreciative of my mom for making sure that we weren't like, I wasn't angry at him because I have a problem with that with the boys in the program and their parents, bashing the dad because he's not around. And I'm just like, I always tell some of the kids, I'm just like, well, who taught your dad how to be a dad? Did he have a dad? Or how can you fault him for not knowing how to do something? Nobody ever taught him. And I always say, I love my dad, my biological dad, but he always, agrees when I say I would never want to turn out like him. I'm glad he didn't raise me. That's just being real. Everything happens for a reason. So I don't hate him. I still call him like, he's been in my life forever. I stop by his house, we have conversations. He sends me text messages. But my mother was extremely important in fostering that relationship growing up because my mom would do things. I mean, I'm not saying every mom should do this, but my mom used to go like for Christmas and my birthday or something. She'd go buy gifts to go give to my dad, then take me to my dad and pretend that, he giving me the gifts, just to help him. She till this day will call him on my birthday and be like, don't forget to call your son for his birthday. And I even remember one year I tell this story all the time. My dad actually brought me a birthday cake on a month before my birthday. He brought it on June the 26th instead of July 26th. And he brought me a chocolate cake. I hate chocolate cake, but I ate it anyway because it was from my dad, and I was extremely happy about it. I didn't care if it was the wrong day. It was just my dad brought me something. My dad only came to 3 football games growing up. I remember those 3 games vividly because he was there. But I played so much football growing up, but I only remember those 3 games really because my dad showed up. So dads are important, but boys are going to mimic the men that they're around. And if they're around no men, they're only going to mimic the women or mimic social media. And that's something that we have to understand. So, but my upbringing is a big part of why I am the way I am. Even the men that were in our neighborhood, some guys down the street grew their own food. We had a guy behind our house. His name was Deacon Bogan. He was always cutting his grass. To this day, if you go past South Street right now in Albany, he's somewhere out there in that yard. He always cutting the grass every day. I don't know how he finds something to cut every day, but he does. But all those men help foster our environment. And I believe we had a little small village that helped me become the man that I am today.
Yeah, and it takes a village, present day still. And that's what you're doing. Yep. As we're telling the story, it's like, wow, I thought back into my own childhood. We have a lot of things in common. Right, from a very small town here in South Carolina, lived on the outskirts. My grandfather was in the picture first. My father wasn't there, just like yours, and my mom never spoke ill will of him. Always fostering that relationship. Never, go see your dad, check on your dad, call your dad. Still present day, I'm 32 years old. Still, I'm saying those same things. Stepfather stepped in, having that father figure after my grandfather passed away. Teach us various things that we needed to know. I'm the only boy. I'm the only one mom's had. I know that you're your mom's only child, right?
Yes.
And so it's just amazing to see that the village is not dead. It's not dead, and it's still rising. You have your own village that you're making, and I love it. Please, how did this idea come about in just fostering the young males that were around you at such a young age?
Yeah, I came up with this idea back when I was 18, 19 years old. Where I live, like I explained, our violence is extremely bad where I live. We're constantly having a lot of children killed. Just a few weeks ago, we had a 9-year-old shot. We had a 12-year-old killed. So many children dying. And it shouldn't, we shouldn't be up there close to Atlanta, as far as murder rate, by the population. We shouldn't be that high, but we are. And, I speak about the children all the time, especially the juveniles, because my program is the only standing rehabilitative program for juvenile delinquents in Southwest Georgia. And I've been running it out of my house for like the past 3 years. And that's an extremely, huge problem for me, because I'm just like, I can't even take as many kids as y'all want to send me. Well, not yet anyway, so I'm just like, that's absolutely ridiculous. But I'm just like, we all have to be doing something. So I would go to these different community meetings every time somebody's killed. We want to have all these stop the violence meetings in Albany. It's literally every time somebody gets killed, we want to have a stop the violence meeting. And everybody goes there to be philosophical, to hear themselves talk, and nobody actually goes out and does anything. And I felt like, nobody was being as consistent with the boys and the children as I wanted to see them be. Like the boys need real consistency. Like they don't need a day program. They don't need a event here and there. They don't need a motivational speaking. They need somebody to be consistent with them on a daily basis, checking on them, going up to their schools, keeping them, reading with them, disciplining them all the time. And it's tough. I'm not saying everybody, should do it, but that's what we're going to need to see. If we really believe that we want to see our boys change, we got to go do that ourselves and be consistent with it. So I've had children come live at my house, etc., because I need to see them like really changing, and these children are developing. But I always tell people the issues, they have are like almost 99% environmental. Like literally when I take them out of their environments, they turn into a different child. I've had the worst children come live with me. Well, the worst, in statistics come live with me. They armed robbery, Grand Theft Auto, etc. These kids come live with me, and they're the most angelic kids you would ever find. I'm just like, they do everything you ask them to do. They're not bad talking you, etc. And so, but listening to the law, their probation officers, they sound like the worst kids you ever run into. And me personally, I love the kids from the juvenile court system more than just the regular kids, because those kids from juvenile court really want the discipline. They want somebody to care about them. They want somebody to show them how to do something different. They got work ethic and they want to go make money, etc. So I'm trying to teach these, juvenile delinquents these things, and they're wanting to learn. So just actually working with these children, that's where I got the ideas from, actually being with them and wanting to be consistent with them. It ain't no easy feat. This past summer, I had 36 kids living with me and my grandma. I had used her house this past summer, but it's talking about for 2 months, 36 kids, breaking up fights, feeding them. I mean, it's crazy. It's a lot, but as time went by, we had to remain consistent with them. So it was extremely tough. But that's something that you gotta, be built for. And I felt like I was built for it because they listen to me, they start changing, and they want to see you be consistent. They want to make sure you allow them to make mistakes, etc. A lot of them try to come in there and try to be bad on purpose, and try to get kicked out or whatever. But I don't allow that to happen. I always tell them, you're not going nowhere. So you can go out and try to be as bad as you want to, but you're not going nowhere. But once they see that you actually care, then they start not wanting to disappoint you and things like that. So as long as I can remain consistent in their lives, they'll start changing. So these ideas come from just simply working with these children, seeing what they need and trying to foster that environment for them.
And I love the idea of you not giving up on them, because so many things have happened in their young lives thus far. We've mentored ourselves. We've been there ourselves, right? Right. But what are some of the things that you do with them that will assist with their overall being lifelong?
Well, I know a lot of people see us, do like the oil change workshops and the brake change workshops. We teach them how to, work on houses, like changing toilets and sheetrock, and we've done welding, firearms training, or whatever. But we teach them these things just for them to learn, but also to develop confidence, in the children. So a lot of kids who are not academically or athletically inclined, some of them start feeling like they're worthless because they don't know how to do anything. So once I took some of these kids and taught them how to change oil or change brakes or taught them how to make an omelet, just little things that I've taught them how to do, for them to be able to go show their mom, that they can do something, for their mom to go be proud of them, for them to receive a certificate for doing something that ain't, schooling or that ain't playing football. It makes them feel proud. Like I remember the first year of my camp, I taught my boys how to make an omelet, like just something, because I have a culinary degree. So it's just something simple. And to hear the stories their moms told at their little graduation about them making an omelet was so beautiful, because the kids, they at home like, y'all, look, I'm gonna cook breakfast this morning, mama, I'm gonna show you I know how to make an omelet, or whatever like that. But to hear the mamas, so to hear the mamas, be so proud of their kids, and they was like, one mom almost crying because they felt better about themselves. It developed a new attitude in them, teaching them how to grow their own food, etc. So you feel like a man, once somebody, showed you how to do something and you can actually do something you see other men, know how to do. So it develops their self-confidence a whole lot, but also our discipline. And I don't allow the children to get 1 and 2 chances to do anything. If I tell you to do something, you don't do it, you get disciplined immediately. And our discipline consists of a lot of physical exercise, like mountain climbers, push-ups, high knees, running back and forth, a lot of annoying games, making them pick up stuff and, chant, the definition of discipline and stuff. So, but and they hate that. It's worse than a whooping. It hurts really bad. But I love doing those things because for one, the boys don't get in trouble by themselves. And so if we have a group of 20 of my boys and I tell all of them not to talk, one of them does, or one of them is having a conversation, I make everybody get in trouble, because why would you allowing him to talk? He shouldn't have been talking in the first place or whatever. And I told all of you to stop talking, or if I told them all to, get their shirts, looking a certain way, but one kid's shirt is not looking that way. Okay, why y'all didn't fix his shirt? Y'all saw his shirt messed up, right? Like, you got to be accountable for each other. Because I always tell them, they laugh at me every time, but I always say, if I'm in the car and you got weed, we all got weed, so yeah. We all got weed. We all going to jail. So you got to be accountable for each other. So my biggest thing for them is accountability and teaching them that everything is, a we thing, not an I. We always have to make sure everything's a team, because school will breed a lot of individuality. And I believe that's done on purpose too, because it never teaches you to work together. And that's something extremely important. So I always want our boys, to make sure that they're understanding that we are brothers and we can make this thing happen together. We can succeed together. And that's how we can do it.
Yes, together. I didn't learn that aspect until I got to college and I pledged a fraternity. I didn't learn those things until that moment. And when I did, it was a major eye-opener for me. And I'm like, if I would have learned this a little bit sooner, right? If I learned these concepts a little bit sooner, and looking after your fellow man, and helping them when I can, and all that kind of good stuff. I feel like, I would have been that much more effective as a human. But I feel that we learn at different speeds, we learn at different rates. Right. that season and that reason at that time for us to do it. You said something earlier as well about just being genuine, being real with them, because with our youth today, you have to tap in, right? You have to tap into them in order for them to trust you. And I know that one of the major issues, a lot of issues with our young males today, but one of the issues you stated in a previous interview was some of them being molested. And you can relate to that, right? You can definitely relate to that. So how does your stories encourage and inspire and motivate your students and having that relatable factor? Does it draw you closer?
Of course. I just graduated high school 2017, so I'm not out of high school, like 10 years. So some of the tricks they try to play and things like that, I'm just like, dog, I literally just graduated, bro. Like, you're not smooth. Like, I did all of this stuff. So it's easy to relate to them, listening to the same type of music they're listening to, having the same conversations, understanding what they mean. And a lot of them, again, are more able to listen because they see I'm young, I'm successful, I have a nice, car or house or whatever like that. And they're like, well, I got somebody to look up to that's right by me. Like, and they, of course, they love, that people know me on social media. So they love, the Extra Boys. They love, saying that I'm in the Extra Boys. I got kids mad because they ain't able to join right now, because they're happy that somebody is close to them, successful in doing something. And I'm not an athlete or a rapper or none of that. I'm just out here trying to help y'all. And that's extremely important. So yeah, I definitely think being relatable to them is definitely has a lot to do with my age. And I also feel like I need to develop, with them, and grow with them, because I don't consider myself an adult till the age of 25. That's when the decision-making part of your brain is finished developing. So I still have a council of elders that I consult, my manager, my mom, granddads, uncles. I always call, everybody trying to help me, with these decisions, because I don't even know everything about raising a kid. I got a little experience now, working with them for 3 years, but I still need counsel. I still need people to help me, but definitely just staying around them and being consistent with them. That's how I figure out, how I'm able to, relate to them even more than I do now. Because there are still things, even though I just graduated, they doing new stuff now. I'm just like, where y'all get that from? But it's always something new or something new that they're talking about, or some new dance or some new phrase or anything, so I have to try to, stay up to date with what's going on with them. But I'll definitely say, especially with them getting molested and, physical abuse at home. And, I got kids whose parents don't want to see them eat food. I mean, it's just ridiculous stuff that I've run into out here, working with these children. So my story, is definitely, something, important for them, especially after, boys are molested by women. And a lot of them aren't taught that it was wrong. And so a lot of people always wonder why a lot of guys are like super hypersexual and stuff like that. That's because, a lot of them experience that at such a young age, that's all they kind of feeding for, almost like crack, growing up. They didn't have therapy or counseling, to let them know that was wrong, and let them know that it affected them, psychologically. So those things are extremely important in regards to me being able to relate to them, because some of their stories they try to give, I'm like, dude, I grew up in the hood too. I grew up like literally half and half. I grew up in the hood and I grew up in a nice neighborhood too. So some of my kids that come from a nicer neighborhood, I can relate to you a little bit. Some of my country kids and hood kids, I can relate to them too. So I just think my upbringing in general was designed by God for me to be able to teach these children, what I know.
Gotcha. And going back as well, again, the concept of people, students, your boys, with their struggles, with their issues, right? And how you are able to relate to them in that manner. How do you explain the concept to your young males of masculinity and what that looks like in society today? How do you cover that topic?
Well, this is always an interesting conversation, because right now, just the toxic masculinity, I don't even think there's a such thing. I think, well, it is, but I would say it's more of too much femininity, because a boy that's, operating in his masculinity or whatever like that is simple. It's not a super extravagant thing. We're not abusive or anything like that. Like people try to make it seem, because, I think a lot of those issues come from not having a father around. But for a man growing his own food, taking care of his family, able to help take care of his community, able to take care of his children, able to do things for himself, able to love on his wife, love on his children. Those things are what I consider, being a masculine man. Now, of course, I will get pushback, for saying things like boys need fathers. Like I remember I was having a community meeting in Albany maybe like a month ago, and I was saying, well, some of these boys need fathers, and some guy was like, well, that's not true because my mom raised me good, and I ain't have a daddy. And sometimes women can raise boys just as good as a man can. And I was just like, you wouldn't say that to no woman. You wouldn't tell a woman that you could raise a daughter as good as she could. That makes no sense. How can a woman teach a man how to be a man? That's just impossible. That you probably had more father figures growing up. You probably had some male teachers around or something. Your mama just ain't just raised you completely on her own, and you turned out to be this masculine male that I see. That ain't how that happened. That's just not how the universe works. There's a man somewhere, in there, and those boys need fathers. And then somebody was saying that's me discounting the work of single mothers when I say boys need fathers. I'm like, I didn't even mention single mothers. We shouldn't even want our mothers to be single. So why are we even, parading that around like an award? That's not an award. That's something we need to be trying to fix. That's a problem, not a award. Like we love to parade around like, oh, I'm a single Black mother. No, let's figure out how we can fix that, man. Let's figure out what can we do as men to make sure we're eliminating, our women having to be single mothers. And that comes from choosing, better partners to sleep with and have children with. And that comes on both sides, so definitely teaching our boys, about picking and choosing, who you decide to sleep with and who you decide to have a baby with. Because a lot of our problems come from, having children just haphazardly. Because we have a lot of people just out here having sex and ain't, paying attention to who you're having sex with, just out here just wilding and then just having children. And I know people with so many kids and so many guys with 100 baby mamas or mamas with 100 baby daddies. Like that's a problem too, because you are not able to effectively raise those children by yourself. Like I know mama's got 7, 8 kids at home. She working, the kids at home all day. Like that's incubating a lot too there at that house. Because they ain't got no daddy, they ain't got mama around, they kind of raising themselves. And then the oldest kids are ended up having to be parents way earlier, which is another reason I think plays into, kids getting pregnant so early, because they already being mama and daddy, so they already used to it. They already changing diapers and making sure the kids eat and washing dishes and cleaning the house. You're already an adult at 14, 15. I really don't like, how a lot of parents, force their children to be the parents of their kids. Kids can't even participate in what they want to participate in because they got to watch their little sister or watch their brother. Just little stuff like that. That ain't their child. They ain't ask you to go have it. They need to go experience life and not be an adult at the age of freaking 15, 16 years old. Talking about teaching them responsibility. That's not responsibility. You are irresponsible. But, that's a whole nother conversation for another day.
And how are you actually talking with your young males about this, though? How are you expressing this to them at such a young age?
Some things, I know a lot of people think that in the program, I kind of talk directly to the children about some of these things. Some of these things I don't even really talk about because a lot of it is operating in the essence of which I want to see them operate in. Because a lot of learning happens without me just teaching them. It's kind of like how your grandma taught you. Well, your grandma ain't really teach you how to fry chicken. You just happen to be walking past her in the kitchen, 5 or 10 times or whatever, going to make you some water. And you see her put the bread and the seasoning, and put it in the grease. Or kind of how I learned how to grill growing up. Like my uncles didn't give me a class on how to grill. It's just, I happened to be going to the family reunion a few times, or happened to see my stepdad outside on the grill a few times, and I, kind of caught on. So some of those things, they're going to learn, just being around a man. So like even some of the things I learned from my stepdad, like just how to, operate in the house, what traditions we do, how do you, talk to your wife? How do you, talk to your children? How do you discipline? I didn't have a class on those things. I just kind of saw like what it was that I should be doing. So a lot of these kids, they start emulating, me and the other men that I have them around just by being around. So if I'm being a well-made man, which is why I have to take care of myself so often and pay attention to what I'm doing, is because they'll start doing these same things because they are around. So some things I don't even have to I don't have to say, hey, you should talk to your wife like this, or you should talk to your kids like this, or you should operate this way. No, I just operate in that essence. That's kind of like how a woman has to constantly say, well, I'm going to be a submissive woman and I'm going to do this. Or you can just kind of operate in that essence. You don't have to say it. I don't have to teach them. Just operate in the way in which I want to see them be. So you get, in order to be a man, you got to see a man. I can't teach that. I have to show you that. So yeah, sure, we'll have conversations here and there if they ask about it, but most of the teaching comes from them just being around me and the other men that I have them around.
I like the aspect of you you showing them as well. to cater to the different types of learning styles that our students and our young generation has. That they just need year round. I mean, all the way around, right?
Yep.
The actual talking of it as well, because it's going to affect them long term. It's going to, as they get into their adulthood and trying to make those decisions. It took me a long time to figure out what does masculinity mean to me as a Black male in this society. I was going in different directions, but once I had all the cards out on the table and I figured out, okay, I agree with this. I don't want this. I already seen what that was like. I've already been through that. That was a negative experience. So I made it up for me. And now I'm comfortable in my own skin and saying who I am as an individual. So but it's up to them to ultimately decide later on.
Absolutely.
And that's
absolutely. I don't want to, tell them they have to be a certain way or things like that. I can kind of just give them the keys, that I believe that'll make them successful, as men, but every man is going to be different. And most men are still kind of going to be like the men they were raised around, but everybody has different personalities. Everybody's still, going to have certain traits that they are born with. And I say that because we feel like some character traits are not coming from parents, but you do. Like I haven't been around my dad that often. But we do so many things alike. We laugh the same, we walk the same, we say certain words the same. Some of the things he does, I do. And I've never been around him like that. Even I met my granddad for the first time in March, my dad's dad. He didn't know I was alive. I've been looking for him my whole life. I met him for the first time in March. Being around him, we stand up the same. He say some words like me. We talk the same, like literally some of these things you gonna have because it's in the DNA. So, I don't know how a lot of their fathers were raised, etc. So a lot of that stuff is going to come, just in their system. And I know sometimes we'll try to act like, we're not going to get nothing from our parents that may be bad, or even good. But I'm just like, you're going to get something from your parents. Because like I said, I hadn't been around my dad like that. I hadn't been around my granddad like that. But for me to stand like them, walk like them, talk like them, laugh the same, giggle the same, move our faces a certain way, like that stuff is in your DNA. So I definitely feel like you want to make sure that they're being individuals. You don't want to like tell them they have to be a certain way. They all have to walk a certain way. No, none of that. You want to make sure that they're being an individual themselves, but also working as a team, which is why I want to try to foster an environment for them to be themselves, and be, whatever it is that they want to be, whenever they become an adult, etc. And teach them how to, be successful in the keys that I know to be successful as a man, here in America.
Love it. I love it. But when we come back, we're going to talk about King's perspective of not being anti-government, but being anti-excuses. Back in a moment. Next, King describes his perspective of being anti-excuses. Back in a moment.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Bill Whitehouse Jr. with Dan Chef Pound Talk, and you're watching the Michael Finkley Show on RokuTV and YouTube, baby.
School districts, organizations, nonprofits, are you in search of a new promotional products company? Seegers Promotional Products is a Black-owned national company with over 780,000 products to choose from. Compared to other promotional products companies, they have the lowest prices in the industry. From pens, bags, shirts, they got you covered. They always remember that you are the customer and you come first. They always promise fast production and also fast delivery. With Seegers Promotional Products Company, you truly have the best. Check out their website at seegerspromotions.com and also on Facebook and LinkedIn. And tell them Finkley sent you.
She is flexible and she is a multitasker. She is a wife, a mom. She is city councilwoman. Yeah.
When I was growing up, Mom worked outside the house, and so my dad was an entrepreneur. I saw him leaving early in the morning or late at nights to go meet with clients, and he was always one who told me, if you show up on time, you're late.
I just admire how she's able to not only juggle the demands of her jobs, but keep her family really first.
The outstanding thing about the Isaac family is their noble contributions to improving the quality of life for our Colombians and people all over this state.
I, Tamika Isaac, do solemnly swear.
Discharge the duties thereof, so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations and best wishes.
I first ran because I saw a need, I saw a void that needed to be filled, a voice that wasn't there. And over the last several years, I feel like I've been able to be that voice.
So often as women in whatever spaces that we're in, we are often discounted because we're a mom or we're a wife or we have this career, and she's an everyday woman who shows women what excellence looks like.
She has walked the walk of being a small business person, of being a parent, of sending her kids to school.
Columbia is a great place, and we have done a lot in the last few years as far as law enforcement. But law enforcement can't do everything, nor should it do everything. We have to really expand upon the tools, technology, and community policing, investing in our communities so that law enforcement is a partner with our communities. Being a Columbia native, I've seen the way this city has grown. It's grown to the point that sometimes not everybody's been a part of that growth. I want to make sure that communities, specifically communities of color, make sure that they are part of Columbia's present and its future. I want to have a climate plan for this city that not only helps us be sustainable, but also helps provide opportunities for folks in the workforce. There are so many opportunities to take advantage of technology, green energy. I want to be the advocate for growing our city and being on the forefront, not just looking at what other cities are doing and following them, but being the leader.
If you don't have the right leadership, you're going to miss a lot of opportunities.
I think having a woman as mayor of the city of Columbia is long overdue.
I'm Tamika Isaac Devine, and I'm running for mayor of the city of Columbia.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. We are still chatting with King Randall here. And we left off in asking the question, King, please talk about this perspective of not being anti-government, but being anti-excuses.
Absolutely. So many people who come into contact with me or, ran into me on social media, saw the interview with Roland Martin. And I know the interview with Roland Martin, people were thinking I was saying that I was just like, don't do nothing with the government, et cetera. That's not necessarily what I was saying. What I was saying was I'm just anti-waiting on government or anti-excuses. I didn't say, if the government offers something, don't use it. Of course you should use it. Of course, they're offering something positive, then use it. However, what I was saying, I'm not trying to live my life exclusively off the government. That's just not how that's going to work, because just like I told Roland, if you give somebody the power to feed you, you're giving them the power to starve you too. So I can use them as a stepping stone to get where I'm trying to be, but I'm not about to. They better take care of all my health care. They better take care of all my food, my lights, my clothes, my this, my that. I don't want y'all doing all that, because at any moment y'all can be like, all right, we need to go do this, and we're taking it all away. And then what you gonna do? Nothing. You don't know how to do nothing. You can't change a tire. You can't paint nothing. So I'm just like, I don't want that to happen. But I'm definitely anti-excuses. I feel like we can do things on our own. But I'm not finna sit here and just wait on government. I got people out here if we just vote our way through it. No, that's not how it's gonna work. I still got people in 2021 out here talking about vote their way through it. I'm just like, we're not gonna vote our way out of this. We gotta fix it ourselves. Sure, voting can help. It could be, of some assistance, but we can't be out here. We having whole shows and twerk videos and everything about voting. I'm just like, can y'all do the same thing about people going to do for self in their communities? Can we give some of these, oppressive programs in our cities, some competition? Because that's what's going to have to happen. We're not going to, fix them. Like, we're trying to fix all the system, bump fixing the system, create your own system and give them some competition. That's the only way, these people are going to act right or even try to be better, is if you give them some competition. You have to create a competing machine, and that's what I believe. So you feel like your school system's doing bad and you've been trying to protest and fix it forever? create your own school system and give them some competition. If the city government is doing bad or whatever like that, and y'all can't get them to bring no businesses in, well, you bring your own businesses in. Like, we have to figure out how we can do it on our own. And the plans that I have for the city of Albany can literally, be enacted without me being a mayor, without me being a city commissioner, without me running for Congress. I'm doing all these things on my own with no government assistance. Sure, if they like to help, that's fine. But I'm anti-waiting on them. We're going to do these things on our own before we even get them a chance to.
I guess just going back again, when you said about the whole concept of voting, right? It's still good to vote, cast your vote, do what you need to do. But like you said, some people think it actually solves it all. Like, you vote and the next day it's taken care of. But I really feel that even when it comes down to voting, people don't do it correctly, right? They wait until the vote for president comes, and then once the president doesn't do what you want him to do, then you're all upset. It starts with local, right? It starts with local government, your state government, and moves onward in that direction. You have people that don't even vote in the local or the state government, and they still want to expect change. But I love the concept of go out and make it happen. Go out and do what you need to do. If they don't give you an opportunity to do it, then you make your own. All right. We have that right. That's what we were fighting so hard for as a culture. So we definitely have that right. Again, this is your right. Your school is your right. What kind of support have you seen in these times that have assisted you with your school? You said that you don't depend on the government. How have you been keeping that dream alive in building this school?
Practicing dual domination. And dual domination is being able to dominate both sides of the political aisle to help support your cause. So sometimes in our community, we have this thing where we only want to stick with the Democrats or do anything that the Democrats want to, help us with. We won't try to accept any help from anywhere else. The message that I preach is universal, and people love my message from everywhere, both sides, right wing, left wing, pro-Black, whatever. People support my program from all walks of life. And I don't, alienate anybody from supporting our program. I have a lot of, supporters and, a lot of Black people that kind of question my validity because the white people like what I do. And I always ask them, I'm like, well, what is the problem, with white people assisting and, liking what I do? I'm like, what am I supposed to put up with a disclaimer and say, hey, white folks, you're not supposed to like what I'm doing. Like, but I'm just like, I'm going to, support, everybody, as much as I can, and allow people to support us. I feel like people of everywhere, somebody, is trying to help solve the problem. You have to let them. And I'm not going to alienate anybody. So we have support from everywhere. We have super pro-Black, initiatives that support what we're doing. We have right-wing initiatives that support what we're doing, and it's all just doing for self. And, a lot of my posts, and things that I do unify so many different groups of people. It's so beautiful. So our support comes from literally everywhere. I got people all over the world that support, from Australia to Indonesia, to London, to Spain, to Canada. We have support literally from all over the world. For our program, and these people support and hold our program up. And I'm grateful for all these people. As long as we keep doing the work, people keep supporting. And that's something I wholeheartedly believe in. And that's just kind of how, like, some of these universities stay afloat, like Harvard and all these people, they don't stay afloat from no government assistance. They stay afloat because they alumni gonna give back. Their alumni gonna take care of them. Absolutely. And I'm just, even with HBCUs, a lot of them could do a whole lot better if the alumni would give back. Alumni should be, helping taking care of them, so I'm just like, that's something I believe we could do. Say it again.
Don't go there, King. That's another story, sir. Don't go there.
Yep. I'm just saying, but that's something I believe, we should be able to do for our own communities and schools and stuff. We should be able to give back to our schools that especially that are doing the work. But other than that, man, we get support from everywhere, and that's how we're able to keep the program afloat. That's how our program remains free. This whole summer, I had 36 kids in a house with me. I fed them every day. We got a school bus. We got to put gas in, etc. Parents, paid no money. Kids paid no money. All of it was taken care of for all those kids, and it's always been that way for the program ever since, we've hit the mainstream, because we've been able to take care of our kids, and I always want to make sure the program was free, because a lot of our parents can't even afford it sometimes to even give $5, but we have people from all over the world that are sponsoring these kids, that are taking care of them and taking care of our program, essentially. So we get support from everywhere, definitely.
Now, please explain the differences between support and control. Because when people say you have a universal message, right? And a lot of people support, right? You may have Republicans, Democrats, and they contribute to this. And a lot of people are thinking when they contribute to it, that means they have a say so in what you do with your business within your company. So please explain the difference between those two concepts.
Absolutely. Usually when government is supporting your program or initiative, that's who you need to worry about. These people out here, that's family people who, married and got 2 kids or whatever, that happen to see the program and want to send $200, whatever like that. These people ain't calling me after they donated, like, all right, we donated $200 to your school. Now make sure you're saying this tomorrow, or make sure nobody doing that. That's what they think. And I'm just like, you guys got it so backwards. I'm like, no, government does that to you. Regular people out here that support initiatives or whatever are not out here trying to control your message or control what you're saying or whatever. You just do the work. People want to donate to things that they see are doing good. I've yet to have anybody try me like that. And if somebody does, or whatever, then obviously we won't take, any of their donations. But that usually comes with a politician, somebody from government. It's always somebody from government. I'm like, ain't no regular people out here that's donating to you. Somebody, you mean to tell me people sending $5 and $10 here, and they're gonna call me and say, all right, I've sent you about $10 now. We want you to tout our message. Ain't nobody doing none of that crap. Like, people just say anything because it reminds me of Jay-Z's lyrics from, I forgot which song it was. It's from The Devil Is a Lie by Rick Ross. And he's explaining in the song how, just because you're Black successful, you don't think like everybody else, then you got to be an Illuminati, or you got to be sold out or something like that, because you don't have the same, mind frame as all the other regular Black people. Like, because I think a little different, so he was like, you got to be Illuminati if a nigga shine. You can't be a nigga if a nigga rich. That's some nigga shit. That's what he was saying. He like, that's some bull. Like, how I can be rich, but I can't be a nigga now because I got money, or now I can't be Black and successful. I got to be an Illuminati, or I'm just Black and successful. And I think differently, and that's how you're gonna get successful, is when you think different. Not none of these people that are bought out, like some of these athletes and stuff like that, are pushing these mainstream narratives that people love to hear, or whatever. These guys are bought out. These people are paid to do these things. A lot of these rappers are paid to rap the way they rap and things like that. So that's who you need to be looking out for. Those are the ones who done sold out. Those are the ones who selling out your community, not regular people out here teaching kids how to read. And I always ask people all the time, like, even Tariq Nasheed was saying I'm an agent. I said, what would the FBI want with me teaching kids how to read a book? What they going to do? All right, King, today we're going to make sure you're reading the book, with these kids, and what are their parents doing? Like, come on, bro. Like, they just say anything, if you ain't what they want you to be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I just mind my business. I scratch when I itch, and I dance when I like the music. And I control everything that I do.
Good to hear. Y'all heard that, right? Okay, good to hear. Good to hear. So how has the progress of the school been? Where are they now? I know that you purchased some buildings. Where are you now in the process?
All right. So, well, I got a big announcement Monday. I don't wish to talk about yet in regards to the school, considering what happened with the school system. So I just try to keep, my mouth shut. But I know we had a big blunder with the school system in the beginning, because we were actually trying to purchase a actual old school building from them that was up for demolition. And we got into it with them, and they didn't want to sell it to us anymore, which is fine. But we did buy 3 buildings on a more impoverished side of town in Albany. And right now we're working on, getting renovated. We've been using it right now to do our book club and things like that. But right now we've been on pause for this announcement that'll be coming out on Monday. So whenever Monday hits, you'll know some new news about the Life Preparatory School for Boys. But it's definitely a big announcement. And one thing about us, we're going to remain transparent with everybody. So we'll take everybody, on our social media through a journey with us as we get our school ready for next year. We'll be opening next fall. So we're going to take everybody on a journey with us. You're going to see us painting. You're going to see us pressure washing. You're going to see us working on the roof. You're going to see me and the boys bringing in furniture. You're going to see us getting all the cosmetics ready. You're going to see us working on the curriculum, all that stuff. We're going to take everybody through a journey with us, so that way you don't miss anything. You can be a part of the process with us. We're going to make sure everybody sees us going to Home Depot, buying paint, like all that. We're going to walk everybody through the entire journey with us, because so many people have supported us for the last 2-3 years, getting just from me working out of my house all the way to us having our own school in just 3 years, from being 19 to 22 now. I definitely feel like people will really enjoy, walking through, this whole process with us. And like I said, we have a big announcement on Monday. It may actually come after Monday, but I know we got papers to sign on Monday. But we'll see about how it gets released to social media. But we do have a big announcement. We're moving right along. We're looking at opening up fall 2022.
I love it. I love it. Going in the right direction. And as an educator, I've been an educator for the past 10 years, teaching the concept of English. And so you're looking at a person that hated to read and write, didn't do much of it in secondary ed, and hated to read, and now being a teacher, and now with a focus on teaching African-American males, young African-American males, the concept of how reading is truly fundamental. I thank you for the service that you do in that aspect and preparing our students and leading the way. How can our folks that are watching, how can they watch your journey or even donate?
Absolutely. Well, and I also tell people all the time that you don't just have to donate funds. Anything that you haven't seen us teach the boys that you can come teach, please reach out. I would definitely love to host you, come to do any workshop. I don't care what you know how to do, whether it be financial literacy or teaching kids how to build a computer, welding, whatever. You know, if you want to come teach the boys how to do something, you can reach out to us at thexforboys.org. That's THE_XFORBOYS.org. You can go there to figure out how to donate. You can go there to figure out how to volunteer. You can go there and look at all of our pictures, videos, whatever you want to see. It's all on the website. All of my social media tags are on there as well. They're at New Emerging King on all social media platforms. That's at New Emerging King. And I always end every show, with the same quote from one of our local hometown hero rappers. His name is Cantrell. He says, "Obstacles are optical illusions. They're not really there. Jump high anyway. Jump high just in case."
King to jump high. Love it. Thank you, King, for being with us and telling us your awesome story and what you're doing for our youth. We appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Back in a moment. Calling all TRIO, Gear Up, JAG, and other college readiness organizations. Hello everybody, it's Finkley with the Finkley Experience. I am here to offer you information about our college readiness cohort series. This college readiness series includes college applications, SAT, ACT prep, scholarships, financial aid, the mental mind state, HBCU versus PWI versus technical colleges, and so much more.
This is helpful because it's actually making me change my college plan.
Really? If interested, visit our website, thefinkleyexperience.com, or just email us at michael@thefinkleyexperience.com. We're looking forward to working with you.
Sometimes you get caught up in this, I want this perfect picture type of mindset. I want to be perfect. And you beat yourself down when you're not perfect, or you feel like that you made a mistake. So now that defines you as a person. Mistakes don't define you as a person, progress do. So as long as you learn from your mistakes and take their progress and move it into your process, then that's when everything get to happening for you, and then you get to build confidence, build yourself. But the moment that you make a mistake and you consistently down yourself, the moment that you make a mistake and you consistently beat yourself up, you will never grow from that area, because you can't grow from a negative space. You got to grow from a positive space at all times. So don't let nobody tell you, don't tell yourself, don't let your family members tell you, don't let your past define you or keep you in a nutshell to where you feel like you can't come out and just grow as you wish you can, or do new things as you wish you could, because you looking at what you done, not at what you're doing. So when you get in that mindset, remind yourself that my past do not define me. I am not who I was. I am who I'm becoming. I am who I'm becoming every single day. I am who I imagine myself to be. I am the best version of me. I am this person that I vision in my head every day. And when you speak that and live that into existence, then things will start to weigh itself out, start to come into motion, and start to come to real life. As long as you keep negative self-talk, negative thoughts, as long as you keep yourself in the past, then you will no longer be able to move forward. They have a quote that said, as long as you drive and looking in your rearview mirror, you can't see what's ahead of you because you're so focused on what's behind of you. So remember that day by day is that Stay looking ahead. You're not who you was. You are who you becoming.
On the next Michael Finkley, Platinum R&B group member of Shy, Dr. Garfield Bright is with us. He chats with us about life after the group, receiving his PhD, and so much more. Next Finkley, Friday. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. I hope that you learned something from our special guest today, King Randall, as he services his young males in a mighty way to prepare them for life. So we appreciate you here and continue to do the great work. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Michael Finkley Show, ring that bell for notification, where you send you emails saying, hey, new content self-loaded. Please listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And for more information about what we do here on The Michael Finkley Show, visit our website at michaelfinkleyshow.com. RokuTV, you know I was getting to it. At The Michael Finkley Show, The Greater Works Network, via The Greater Works Network, and watch us every Monday and Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or on demand. Thank you so much for watching us, and guess what? We'll see you next time. Have a good one.